Shalom, shalom, Israel. Welcome to another Wednesday. Um, every week, things are getting better in one area, getting harder in another. But we must remember what the house of the Lord is, where the temple of the Lord is, and how we can access that temple. Last week, I've done a class on the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, and all the kings of Judah and Israel and how they dealt with the Most High. And the last king that I spoke about was King Ahaz, who was very wicked. He sacrificed the children of Israel to Moabite fires. He profaned the Sabbath. He profaned the temple of the Lord to the point where the temple of the Lord was locked up and closed during his rule. He went left in a different direction. He did that which was wicked in the sight of the Lord, which was against what the Most High prescribed, according to the Lord's statutes and commandments, went in a different direction than his own father. But now, on this day, I'm going to speak on King Hezekiah, one of the kings of Israel, who was the son of Ahaz, and he came to rulership, and how what he did during his tenure as king, what he did to help the nation of Israel, and what we should understand for what he did, not only in the Old Testament, but also the New Testament, and also in certain passages that refer to that, and come together in the apocrypha, or what we call the book of Baruch, right? So on this day, we're going to start at, let me see, 2 Chronicles, chapter 29, and we're going to start at verse 3, right? But let's start at verse 1, just to get into the groove of things, because just like last week, I brought y'all through the visions of Isaiah, but in the few verses in the chapter 1, I brought y'all to understanding not only what was he seeing, but what he was describing, and how the wickedness that these kings was doing, one after the other. Some of them did righteous things, tried to change things, even in fear of their own life, tried to hide while it was trying to rearrange what was being done in a wicked way in Israel. Meanwhile, you have like King Jotham, right? He came into power. And when he came into power, he tried to fix things in Israel, in the kingdom of Judah, right? But at the same time, people were doing wickedness and corruptibly. And he was trying to fix things, but in the meantime, he was trying to hide here and there, trying to do things like how we say in Creole, under the table. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they say it in Israel in different languages. We all understand each other, under the table. But because of what he was doing, the Most High blessed him according to what he was doing, according to his actions. But then Ahaz came into power, and he was doing wickedness in the sight of the Lord, killing children by making them walk through the fire for the Moabites, trying to ally himself with the Assyrians. Even though the Assyrians were not helping him, they became a thorn in his side. He was giving them tribute rather than give to the Most High sacrifice. He was giving sacrifices to other gods that was not the God of Israel, which angered the Lord. And unbeknownst to us, we do the same thing. We go to concerts. We watch what these idols do on TV, men and women. We believe that the chasing the bag and getting the bag, and that's going to help us. Not so. And in so doing, we forget the house of the Lord. We forget the laws and statutes and commandments of the Lord. We forget the temple of the Lord, whether it be outside ourselves or within. We forget the temple of the Lord. We don't care, right? But let's see after Ahaz, right? Let's see how Hezekiah changed the game. How Hezekiah brought Israel back to where it's supposed to be. But even him, he went off, right? But let's go. Let's go to, this is 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 1. Hezekiah began to reign when he was 25 years old. And he reigned 20 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Abijah, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father had done. He, in the first year of his reign, in the first month, opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them. So he, Hezekiah, in the first year of his reign, he repaired the house of the Lord. And we're going to see not only with what the temple was built, but how that pertains to us as a people, not only in mind, but also in body and spirit, right? Verse 4. Verse 4, and he brought in the priests and the Levites and gathered them together into the east street. So he gathered the priests and the Levites to do what? Right? To do what? Because everything that we do in this life will be tried. Everything that we do, whether right or wrong, will be tried. Now we know that the wicked shall not prosper in what they do. But let's see that in the scriptures. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Chapter 3, let's start at verse 13. Right? Oh, let's start at verse 10. Right? Let's start at verse 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 10. According to the grace of Yahweh, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereupon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shai. Now, if any man build upon the foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest. For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. So every king that came, every king from Jotham, right? Ahaz, and now we're talking about Hezekiah. Every word is going to be tested. And he did that which was right unto the Lord. Now, if it's right, it will prosper. And like we just read, every man's work shall be made manifest. Right? For the day. Now, let me read verse 12. Now, if any man build upon his foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, whatever foundation you build, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If a man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Now, why is it saying that? Why is it saying that? We remember, and we know, as we just read, that Hezekiah was not only going into the temple to rebuild it, right? To clean it up, to make it correct for the Lord, because in the first day, he in the first year of his reign, this is 2 Chronicles 29, verse 3, he in the first year of his reign, in the first month, which is the month of Abib, Passover, opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them. And he brought in the priests and the Levites and gathered them together into the east street, and said unto them, Hear me, ye Levites, sanctify now yourselves, and sanctify the house of the Lord, Yahweh of your fathers, and carry forth the filthiness out of the holy place. Now, verse 5, it tells you clear that the Levites had to clean themselves before, right? Clean themselves. Sanctify now yourselves, and sanctify the house of the Lord God of your fathers. So the Levites had to clean themselves, and then they had to clean the house of the Lord. Right? Because not only could you not bring that filthiness in the house of the Lord, so before anything could be done to clean the house of the Lord, you have to clean yourself, and then the Levites had to go in, and the priests go in there, clean the house of the Lord, and then make it ready for sacrifice, for righteousness, and to repair a relationship with the Most High. Right? But what we need to understand is this. Let's keep going. 2 Chronicles, 1 Corinthians chapter 3. We're going to keep going at verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? The Spirit of God dwelleth in you. That means that if the priests and Levites had to sanctify themselves and then cleanse the temple, they had to cleanse themselves first, because the temple was filthy as well from all the kings prior, especially Ahaz, who had them do a lot of wickedness in the sight of the Lord and sacrifice to other gods. So they had to cleanse themselves and their own temple. Then the temple of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. So you are the temple of God. And they had to, the Levites had to sanctify themselves before they went in to cleanse the temple, because the relationship between us and the Most High goes through the temple. But if we don't have a physical building, that's okay, because the temple is in us. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst of thee. I am in the midst of thee, right? Verse 18. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And that's why the so-called white man seeketh after wisdom, while the Jews seeketh for a sign. They look at the wisdom to catch us slipping. But Hezekiah, he made sure to cleanse, to have the Levites first cleanse themselves. And are we not all kings and priests? So in so doing, we should all cleanse ourselves and cleanse our own inner temple. And that inner temple, we need to understand how it was built, with what tools and what materials it was built, and why it was built that way, to really understand how we should move, right? How we should move. Well, a lot of us don't see it that way. A lot of our people say, "Oh, the Lord is in my heart." Is in your heart, but in your heart, how? In your heart, how? Huh? In your heart, how? Because let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, and verse 4. For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. So if your body is in temple on the Lord, you cannot be subject unto sin. If you're subject unto sin, you are a slave unto sin. Because we allow certain things to come into our bodies, which is the temple of the Lord, and do wickedness. Right? One moment. Thank you for your patience. So, like we said, if any man you defile your temple, right? The temple of God, him shall God destroy. Ahaz destroyed his own temple, closed the doors, sacrificed to other gods, and the people, the children of Israel, right, went astray. They had no place to go to worship the Lord, to do sacrifices, to please the Lord, and in turn, the Lord would bless them and increase them and make them prosper. Right? Let's see that, right, in the scriptures. Let's go to Baruch chapter 3. Let's start at verse 9. And it reads, "Hear Israel, the commandment of life. The commandment of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How appertaineth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom." The fountain of wisdom is the Most High. The temple, not only within ourselves, but with the Most High at that time, during the time of Hezekiah, after the wicked rule of Ahaz. Right? Thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Baruch chapter 3, verse 12. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou had walked in the way of God, in the way of Yahweh, thou shouldest have dwelt in peace forever. dwelt in peace forever. So you have to dwell in the house of the Lord, in the way of God, in the way of Yahweh, in yourself, as well as in the temple of the Lord at the particular time with Hezekiah, king of Judah. But during the time of Ahaz, which was before Hezekiah's time, Ahaz was the father of Hezekiah. He was doing wickedness, and the people was following his lead. And by doing so, the nation fell into the hands of the Assyrians. Because Ahaz was sacrificing to other gods. And we have to be, as a people, have to be circumspect, not to turn our backs on the Lord, not to forsake the fountain of wisdom that is within us and with the Most High. Because we know, according to Scripture, we're supposed to have a temple with gold, silver, the altar, the menorah, the precious stones, right? The same stones that are on the ephod, diamonds, carbuncle, amethyst, right? All the 12 stones that represent the kingdom of Israel. All those they were in the temple. And the wood, right? And the wood, we're gonna go through that, and the wood that's in the temple. We need to use our minds to visualize that place, to visualize the temple. Baruch chapter 3, verse 13. For if thou hast walked in the way of God, thou should have dwelt in peace forever. And forever, as I recall, is never ending. Immortality, right? Verse 14, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace. And we remember where the light of the eyes are. We remember where the light of the eyes are. Where the light of where you focus your attention at is where the light of the eyes are, is where should be your mind is. And that's in the scriptures. To walk in the way of God, in the way of the Most High. In the way of the Most High. Now let's go to 2 Chronicles, right? Chapter 29, verse 4. And he brought in the priests and the Levites and gathered them together into East Street and said unto them, hear me, ye Levites, sanctify now yourselves, that's the first step, and sanctify the house of the Lord of your fathers, the second step, and carry forth the filthiness out of the holy place, third step. For our fathers have trespassed and done that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord, our God, and have forsaken him, and have turned away their face from the habitation of the Lord, and turned their backs. Right? Verse 7. Also, they have shut up the doors of the porch, and put out the lamps, and have not burned incense, nor offered burnt offerings in the holy place unto the God of Israel, the God of Yasher Allah. Now, let's read to corroborate that and to make an alliance with that. Let's read again. Baruch chapter 3, verse 14. Learn where is wisdom in the house of the Lord. Where is strength in the house of the Lord? Where is understanding in the scriptures in the house of the Lord? That thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace. Who hath found her who have found her place, or who have come into her treasures? That's a question that's being asked. Who have found her place, found out her place, or who have come into her treasures? Because, like we read in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. So we have to go back to the temple and not only study, understand, but contemplate the house of the Lord. Understand how it was built, why it was built a certain way. What are the materials that was used to build the house of the Lord? Right? We're going to go through that. Verse 8, wherefore the wrath of the Lord was upon Judah and Jerusalem, and he had delivered them to trouble, to astonishment, and to hissing, and ye see with your eyes. Who is in trouble today? Just like in the time of Ahaz, Jotham, Hezekiah, who was in tribulation and in straits? It was not these other nations. It was the children of the Most High. And the astonishment, which astonishment? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. Now let's go to verse 15 first, before verse 37. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And overtake thee. Now, a curse is a bad thing. It's something that hits you, and you cannot see, you cannot defend, you cannot block, you cannot stop. Because we refused to listen to the Lord, and we went off. And we still going off today. Nothing has changed. Not much. But the major part is the fact that a lot of our people are out here in the corner of these streets, and people are angry because we scream and yell, but Bible tells us not to spare nobody. Not to spare your feelings, not to spare your tears, not to spare. Because if you're happy to hear this word, the people that are happy, they're overjoyed. And when one person comes back to the truth of who they are, the angels rejoice. So if the angels rejoice at one person coming back to realization of who they are, and they are the children of God, and they should follow, like it says in Baruch chapter 3, verse 13, the way of God. Do we really believe, do we really think that the Most High will listen to a person's prayer that don't want to follow the way, his ways? No. We're not supposed to spare feelings. We're not supposed to care. Feelings do not cloud us from the truth, and it clouds us from doing the way of God. Are they useful? In righteousness they are, but they must be tempered by the Lord. Now, verse 37, Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Who's called a nigger, a spick, a wetback? Even in the Bible, Acts chapter 13, it speaks of Barnabas and Simon as niggers, niger, which means black. But people will come online and say it doesn't say that in the Bible. When Solomon called himself black, Christ is described as a black man. God is described in the book of Daniel as black. Job is described as black. Moses showed himself to be black. Uzziah, king of Judah, had leprosy in his forehead. So which means, what was the color of the rest of his body? Why does this make a specificity towards his forehead as becoming white? Because he was trying to to burn incense in the temple, which was not of his office. Miriam was kept out of the camp for 7 days, and she was the sister of Moses and Aaron. And Moses turned leprous as snow by putting his hand in his bosom. And as you remember, Moses was put in a basket of bulrushes and was found by the daughter of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh was an Egyptian. And the Egyptian, if Moses came into the temple and was accepted, even though the daughter of Pharaoh found him and she knew he was a Hebrew child, she took him in. She took him in. And we know that the Egyptians are black because the name of Egypt before it was changed to Egypt was Kemet. And Kemet, Kem means black. And Kemet, the land, black land. We have to go down this road and see the way of God. And the way of God is truth, understanding and wisdom, and see what's being presented to you. And that by the grace of God was given to me, I'm presenting to you today, is in righteousness. All my brothers out here in the four corners of the earth, in New York, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, UK, Haiti, South America, wherever they are, man, they're bringing out this truth and they're showing you who the real people of God is, and the fact that the people over there in Israel are not the real people of God. And the fact is, if they were the people of God, wars would have ended by now. The war would have ended. People would have been happy and content. Huh? Swords, weapons of war would have been beaten into plowshares, but it's not happening, is it? Huh? Now let's go back. Again, this is 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 8. Wherefore the wrath of the Lord was upon Judah and Jerusalem, and he hath delivered them into trouble and astonishment. To trouble, to astonishment and hissing, and ye see with your eyes. For lo, our fathers have fallen by the sword, and our sons and our daughters and our wives are in captivity for this. Are we not in captivity? The transatlantic slave trade, isn't that captivity? And we are in captivity for this. Let's see. How so? When you're in captivity, can you buy clothes with your own money? Can you go where you want without having to present paperwork? Can you drive your car without being stopped by the cops and having to present a driver's license? Can you leave America without no passport or so-called real ID? Can you go to another country where you was born or go back to Israel without a passport? How can the Jews leave black and come back white? This is what the prime minister of Egypt said, Gael Abdel Nasser. How can the Jews wax pale? They can't. That's Isaiah, I believe, right? The book of Isaiah. But people will fight us tooth and nail. We welcome all comers. Come to camp. Let's break it down. Let's break down the history. Let's break down what happened to Moses. What happened to Esau? What happened to Cain, the first murderer upon the earth? Come to camp. Come to 44th and Broadway. Come to Atlantic City. Come and see us, man. Come and talk. We don't want no keyboard warriors, man. We want people that come to camp and contend for this truth. If you know what you know, show us. Because lo and behold, we some scholars. We read. We do our studies. We have teachers and elders that taught us, man. Before the internet came around, they went to libraries and broke down and did the history, did the research, corroborated the Bible from different angles, from different books. Books that many of you have not heard of. Many of our children now are watching Prime Video and believe that Christ is white when he's black, according to Scripture. And when you think about it, these white people didn't travel by boat until 1492. And every land that they go into, they pervert, they destroy, they massacre the people. Even outside black people, they did it in India. The British did it in India. Alexander the Greek freak went to Persia. He messed with the Persians and the Medes. These white people, they mess with everything and everyone. They won't leave people alone. They went to Japan, pointed their cannons at the land and told them, if you don't open your borders, we will shoot you down. But these are the people that y'all go for, that y'all break bread with. Yeah, I lived in Canada. I broke bread with these people. That's why I'm not curious no more. May the Most High be praised that I'm not curious about these people. Because I've been around them. I've been with them. I looked at them in the face where I have to get a job. And this is where we're going to go right now. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's go to verse 46. And there shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, which means that the fact that all these curses in the Deuteronomy shows us that who we are and who the people of God are. And the people of God, whenever they don't do what God say and they break the laws of God, they go into tribulation and Jacob's trouble. But we have people out here, they're like, oh no, it's not true. I don't believe in the Bible. You don't believe in the Bible, but you go to school and learn all types of disciplines and understandings and wisdoms of this world. And now we have people out here, they can't get a job. They can't get a job. People are being laid off left and right. Mass layoffs. People have car notes that are beyond their own mortgages, man, or equal to their mortgages. And people believe in other books, in other things at school rather than the scriptures, when the scriptures is unfolding before us as we speak. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. They believe in school books, man. Yeah, conscious. They believe in school books. And lo and behold, these people have learned from us, and our ancestors have to wash themselves, had to clean themselves. These are people that in Europe, after the Byzantine Empire, which Byzantine, which means black, they was walking around in the dark, walking around in their own filth. And lo and behold, if you watch Trainwreck Poop Deck, which is the Carnival cruise that went out to sea, right? And that boat broke down, you will see how much the Most High make mockery of these people. They was on the boat. The boat broke down. And they told them, listen, man, there's no electricity. There's no power. And the toilets was working based on electricity on a boat. I pray all of you watch that documentary. It's maybe 55 minutes. It's a quick watch. You will see how these people are filthy and disgusting. They had to poop in red bags, right? And it's the crew that had to walk around and pick up those red bags. Huh? Pick up those red bags. to keep the boat sanitary. On Netflix. Watch it. You will see the filthiness of Esau, but they will call us porch monkeys, evil, all of that, all names, because we brought those evils upon ourselves. Let's go to verse 49. Deuteronomy 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring the nations against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Who is this? A so-called white man. He's a filthy, filthy dog. A filthy creature. But he's swift as an eagle flieth. Who's the eagle? America. The so-called white man. So-called white man. He come from wherever. Right? Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance. They have a mean look on their face, man. Fierce countenance means you have a mean look, right? Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. They don't give no care to our elders and our people. They don't care. But people will break bread with these people, man. They go to work. After work, there's an after work meeting or there's a get together. They go over there and eat all types of machinations, man. Crab cakes, abominations, and partake with these people when these people don't give. They don't care. They don't care. Huh? They don't care. And this is why Baruch chapter 3, verse 16. Where are the princes of the heathen become? It didn't say what. It says where. Where are the princes of the heathen become? And such as rule the beasts upon the earth. Now, what? It says where are the princes of the heathen become? That means that they go, the so-called white man go everywhere, huh? It didn't say what he has become. He says where. Because they go everywhere, huh? They go everywhere and they grab people and make them slaves and turn them into beasts. Because in the book of Psalms, it tells you what? David spoke of this. Let's go to Psalms. 73. Verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant. I was as a beast before thee. I was as a beast. We're moving like beasts out here, man. Wicked. We got men that get money just to be able to do the things that their heart's desire wants, which is why the scriptures tell us when a brother get money, why does he act niggardly? Huh? It's a question. Why does a brother act niggardly? Like a niggard? Huh? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 14. Chapter 14, verse 3. Riches are not comely. Comely is an old word which means beautiful. Riches are not comely, huh? For a niggard. And what should an envious man do with money? That's a question that's being asked. There are people that get money. As soon as they get money, they act like a niggard. Like a niggard, huh? And it's talking about our people. But meanwhile, we got books after we left Israel, where we was in the west coast of Africa, and people was looking at us, and we was moving with jewels in our teeth and earrings and looking fine. flashy, like it was nothing. But we have gone backwards. We are going backwards in a niggardly way. Huh? In a niggardly way. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 10. Huh? A wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. Huh? We have people that are just not doing right. Because and I understand, we got brothers that never had before, and once they hit pay dirt, they changed their behavior. There's rich men all over the internet. They tell you, oh, I'm not going to change. But once they get that first 250,000 or 250 million, it changed them. It changed them. Huh? Riches is not comely for a nigga. And this is why our people are going backwards. They forgot the fountain of wisdom that is the Lord, man. 2 Chronicles, chapter 29. Let's go to verse 10. Now, let's go back to verse 9. For lo, our fathers are fallen by the sword, and our sons and our daughters and our wives are in captivity for this. And we have to bring out. I know people know this verse and know the curses, but for those that don't know, we still got to bring it out. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt, the land of bondage. Exodus 20, verse 2. Right? Again with ships. So by the way of boats, our people were brought here by force. And that's why I brought out train wreck poop deck. Because the same thing that happened to them happened to our people. But we didn't go out there on vacation. Huh? We went out there because we were forced on boats because we didn't listen to the Lord, and the Most High sent a nation of fierce continents against us. And they brought us into slavery and put a yoke of iron upon our neck. Huh? By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We're not going to see our homeland. And I want to get up out of here, man. I want to get up out of America. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. This place got to go. It got to burn, man. You got to have 3 times the rent just to get into an apartment. Our parents were working longer than before, man. Your mortgage and your cell phone are the same price, man. Meanwhile, you got brothers committing adultery, women doing BBLs on payment plans. Wickedness is abound, man. Nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to get things for free. The age of the influencer, man. Rather than go to work, everybody's complaining about 9 to 5. And now there's no jobs. People are applying for jobs every day and they can't find nothing. There's no more grants from the grants have been the economy has changed, man. Trump came into office. He's like, I'm cutting costs in the government. If people heard that, a lot of people understood that a lot of problems are about to arise, man. Because the government was one of the safest places to have a job. And suddenly people are getting cut left and right. People are losing their jobs, losing their minds. Huh? But now we are in a situation where this country has to cut costs to be able to keep afloat. And every month they have to agree on a spending budget. Huh? This place got to go down, man. I'm tired of it. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Now, if you're a person and you're sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, which are slave men and slave women, who was this done to? And this was spoken about in Deuteronomy, and it happened. And we read it in Second Chronicles, but it happened multiple times. We was sold, Most High saved us, and we was captured again. Most High saved us out of captivity. How? When are we gonna stop and listen, man? When are we gonna be done with doing what we're doing and getting other people jammed up, man? Tired of it. This place gotta go. People are attached to this place and they love this place for whatever reason. They want to sit around and do nothing and do nothing and get things for free. But when you look at the Bible, everything was free in the beginning. So why did we do all this for? Nah, we got people complaining and complaining. No, don't complain. Everything that happened because our people went astray. We left the fountain of wisdom of the Lord, man, and we're paying for it. We're paying for it in spades. Now, 2 Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 10. Now, it is mine heart to make a covenant with the Lord, Yahweh of Israel, Lord God of Israel, that his fierce wrath may turn away from us. We should speak to the Most High. We should pray to the Most High. Each of us, if we have the altar of the Lord within us, right, then we have the capacity to not only make sacrifice unto the Lord with fasting, but also by offering to the Most High. But we also, like it says here, we can make covenants with the Most High and ask the Most High and bring offerings and bring a contrite heart to the Most High, not contemptuous, but a contrite heart to the Most High, and show ourselves to the Most High, so that his fierce anger should maybe turn away from us, man. Because our tongues speak power. And we don't even pray as we should. We don't focus as we should. We don't even visualize the temple in our minds. And later on, I'm going to bring about how the temple looked, how it looked, how it was arrayed, what materials was used, and why those materials was used to the best of my ability that the Most High has imparted in me, right? Because if we could visualize the temple in our minds, visualize how it should be, how it should look, and all the chairs, then we could go to the altar and look at the Most High and be able to make sacrifices of the contrite heart and the mind and focus intently, focus with a focus never before seen, man, to a point where you blocked out the world. You're in like a bath full of water and salt floating, and you don't hear nothing, and all you see is what you see in your mind as being the temple of the Lord. Huh? Let's go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 16, verse 17. They that had their pastime with the fowls of the air, and they that hoarded up silver and gold wherein men trust, and made no end of their getting, for they that wrought in silver and were so careful, and whose works are unsearchable, they are vanished and gone down to the grave, and others are come up in their stead. Huh? So all these heathens, they go around the earth, gather resources, go to Haiti, gather the gold, go to South America, gather the oil, Huh? America, they do that. Go to Venezuela, mess around with the regime, mess around with presidents over there to get the oil. And they poke the bear, man. They poke Russia. They mess with Russia's land. Huh? Now the white man is fighting against each other for resources. Because the fatness of the earth is thinning. Huh? The fatness of the earth is thinning. And meanwhile, Elon Musk, he got all them Tesla cars and all that. But people are getting angry. They have to wait half an hour, 2 hours to charge their cars. They have to play Jeopardy to be able to get home. Can I put on AC or am I going to put on music? Because, if I put music, the battery of my car is going to die. If I put music and I put AC and I put and I use the GPS on the car, next thing you know, the energy of the car is going to dwindle down, and I have to go to the charger, and I have to stay there for an hour to charge my car. This whole earth is going up in flames, man, and I love it. It has to go. And I love it. All right? I love it. Because Most High is going to bring all these nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, where Most High is going to deal with them, man. Going to deal with them. Huh? Now let's go to Hebrews. Chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12. And let's start at verse 6. So, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourges every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Lord chasteneth not? I'll tell you which he doesn't chasten. The ones that were not given the law. The children of Israel were only ones given the law. How can you chastise a child when you never gave him wisdom and understanding? He doesn't know. There's only one people the Most High dealt with, and that was the children of Israel. How can we prove that? Psalms. Chapter 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. They don't know the judgments, man. So the question I will ask again, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? The ones that was not given the law. He doesn't chasten them. That's what that question answers. That's what that question answers. That answer question. My bad. Let me read that again. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 7. If ye endure chastening, God deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? Those that were not given the law. He doesn't chasten them. And what I mean, those that were not given the law, I mean those heathens that Baruch speaks about, that goes around the earth taking resources, taking gold and silver and everything. The same people, the so-called white man that was there in Psalms 137, that said, raise it, raise it. They said to raise the temple, man. They raised the temple, they destroyed the temple. They didn't ask, oh, let me get this, let me get that. No, they came, they said, no, let me just be there to destroy the temple. Huh? Verse 8, Hebrews 12, verse 8. But if ye be without chastisement,
whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Meaning, we had Ahaz was the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah, did he not? He could have listened to his father and did what his father did. But he's not, I'm going to listen to the Almighty Father, Father of spirits, man. He could take away my spirit, my soul, the breath of life from me, man. I'm going to listen to the Most High Father, Yahweh. Huh? But we got people that would rather do what is wicked in the eyes of the Lord. We go out there, we ask people, and I'm going to do in the next few weeks, I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask people certain questions about the scriptures, man. And I want to see what they're going to say. I'm going to see what they're going to say and what they're going to bring out as answers. Because our people are lost in the source. They don't know what's going on. America is about to be 250 years old in a couple of months. And no nation has passed 250 years old. Every nation. Rome fell. Assyrians fell. Huh? The Greeks fell. Every nation, man. And America is no different. Verse 10. For they verily for a few days chastened us, and after their own pleasure. But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. So our parents, he's saying our forefathers chastened us based on what they felt. Pleasure is how you feel. But the Most High didn't do that. Huh? But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Huh? Let's keep going. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous. Meaning, you don't chastise. If Most High didn't put these curses upon us, right? For the time being, it's joyous, right? But grievous. Nevertheless, afterwards, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Meaning, like if you accept chastening and you see the wisdom in it and why it's happening, then it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. I mean, you have to work and accept chastening, man. You have to do the work to accept that chastening so that the fruit that comes from it, the perfect fruit that comes from it, right? From patience. There's a saying in French. It says, I'll say it in French first. Prends ton mal en patience. It means take your chastening or take your pain with patience. It sounds like, huh? Yeah, take your pain with patience. Be like, I'm gonna take this to the chin. I'm gonna take this to the stomach. Let's go. Let's go. You get knocked down, boom. Get back up, boom. Get knocked down again, boom. You get up. At some point, something is gonna change. No boxer that became a great champion on the first day of him training, he got punched in the face and stayed down. There's no way he had to get back up. He had to get back up, right? Verse 12, wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees. Meaning, like I said, that boxer, you like, bang, bang, you get hit, get down on the floor, get back up, bang. Life is going to hit you, man. You're going to get back up, Put up your hands, man. Put up your hands. And make strong your feeble knees, man. Make strong your knees. Hold firm. That's what Hezekiah did. Right? Let's go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 20. Young men have seen light. I mean, they seen the light at the tunnel, man. They seen the light at the tunnel and dwelt upon the earth. But the way of knowledge have they not known. So we got boxers out here that's willing to fight tooth and nail to make it to the bag. Huh? But they don't know the way of God. They don't know the way of knowledge. They have not known it, man. They don't know it. They don't know it. They don't know it. Verse 21. Nor understood the path thereof, nor laid hold of it. Their children were far off from that way. See? So as we've been in this country, our forefathers went off, just like Hezekiah's father, Ahaz. He went off. And instead of going the same path, Hezekiah, he tried his best. And we got to give him credence. You got to give him his respect. Because he went into the temple the first day. He's like, nah, we got to fix this. We got to fix the temple of the Lord. We got to fix the temple of the Lord. Now, let's go back. 2 Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 11. My sons, be not now negligent, for the Lord hath chosen you to stand before him. Now, you see, now, I'm going back now. People that say that God love everybody. God love everybody. What if God love everybody? And we talk about King Ahaz and Judah and Jerusalem, right? From before, and the fact that he reigned in Jerusalem 25. He started his reign at the age of 25. So who is it talking about here? It's talking about the children of Israel. It's not talking about everybody. My sons, be not now negligent, for the Lord hath chosen you to stand before him. To stand before him. I've chosen you to stand before him. So if he chose you to stand before him, to serve him, and that ye should minister unto him, and burn incense. My question is, who are these other people that all these Christian apologists and people in the world talking about in the New Testament that God love everybody? God don't love everybody. And I'm going to say, don't bring John 3:16. Because before we get to John 3:16, let's talk about John 3:14. Huh? Let's talk about John 3:14. Because chronologically, it goes from John 3:1, and then it goes down all the way to John 3:14. Let's get to that first. If you can get past John 3:14 and tell me what it's talking about, then I'll listen to you. Then I'll listen to you. All right? John 3:14 says, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so the Son of Man must be lifted up. So what is it talking about here? What is it talking about? Why is that verse entered there? Well, it says Moses. Moses is found where? In the Old Testament. What they call and canonized the Old Testament. Right? But where? He's talking about a serpent lifted up. He's talking about Numbers. Chapter 21. And verse 9. Let's go to verse 5. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water. For our soul loatheth this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents upon the people, and they bit the people, And much people of Israel died. And much people of Israel died. So wait a minute. If John 3:14 is talking about the people of Israel died, so which world is it talking about? It's talking about the people of Israel in John 3:16. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in a booth. So we're talking about the people of Israel in John 3:16. That's the world that's being talked about. All right? And that's the people that 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 11, my son, be not now negligent, for the Lord hath chosen you to stand before him, to serve him, that ye should minister unto him and burn incense. Huh? And burn incense. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now we gotta understand something. Yeah. Yo, Most High is great, man. Most High is great. The Most High is great, man. Because we have to come to a realization of who we are, man. And right now, I'm going to bring about how important the ministering unto the Most High is and the burning of incense in the temple, right? The temple was made with what? It was made with hewn stone, cedar wood, almug wood, gold, bronze, silver, and olive wood. And all these things was chosen for specific reasons. Specific reasons. Hewn stone was made, was picked by the Most High for the foundation and the walls. Huh? Huh? Cedar wood. Why cedar wood? Ever ask yourself why cedar wood? Cedar wood was used for the beams, for the roof, and the walls as well. But cedar wood, why cedar wood? Cedar wood resists warping or cracking with temperature or humidity changes. That's what cedar wood does. It doesn't easily absorb heat. So it stays cool in the heat and warm in the cold. So it is sturdy. It is a material that the Most High made expressly for the doors, huh? For the beams, for the roof, for the walls, to keep it sturdy, but that the building itself does not change shape or does not warp. Most High thinks of everything. Man. Cedar does expand and contract, but less than many other hardwoods. Less than many other hardwoods. And it naturally resists insects, rot, because of the oil that's in the wood itself. So it repels insects. Man. That's what cedar wood was used for in the temple. Cypress almug was used for the flooring and the furnishing. Gold was overlaid in the temple of the Lord. Man. Gold was overlaid in the temple of the Lord. How you imagine? Now I want you to imagine that temple in your mind, man. Imagine it. See it in your mind's eye. So that when you go into the temple of the Lord, in your mind, in your
in your mind right here, in your mind's eye, that you're able to pray to the Most High, make sacrifices of a contrite heart in your temple, in yourself, in 1 Corinthians 3:16, and that you give a sacrifice unto the Most High. Like, you speak truth, and that truth is that perfect sacrifice unto the Lord of how you feel, what you're thinking at the time, how your days is going, how you doing spiritually, mentally, physically. Let's tell it how it is. And then you have olive wood. Now, olive wood was used for what? For the doors, for the door carvings, and for the cherubims. Ooh, for the cherubims. Because olive wood has beautiful grain and finish. And it was used for indoors. It couldn't be put outdoors. It was going to warp. It was going to crack. It's made for indoors and inside the Holy of Holies. Under the curtains. Now, you have to imagine that in your mind. You're going inside the Holy of Holies or before the Holy of Holies, and you pray to the Almighty Father. Yeah? And imagine now, olive wood, right? The wood itself has its own oil within it, which is why in Psalms 23, my cup runneth over with oil. And the 10 virgins going into the house of the Lord, that 5 of them have oil, 5 of them didn't. Because you have to present that oil before the Lord. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. That oil before the Lord. Huh? Now, let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 12. Chapter 29, verse 12. Then the Levites arose, Ma'ath, the son of Amasai, Joel, the son of Hazariah, of the sons of the Kohathites, and the sons of Merari, Kish, the son of Abdi, and Azariah, the son of Jahaleel, and of the Gershonites, Joah, the son of Zimmah, and Eden, the son of Joah. And of the sons of Elizaphan, Shimri, and Jael, and the sons of Asaph, Zechariah, and Mattaniah. And the sons of Haman, Jael, and Shimei, and the sons of Jeduthun, Shemaiah, and Uzziel. And they gathered their brethren and sanctified themselves and came according to the commandment of the king by the words of the Lord to cleanse the house of the Lord. And the priest went into the inner part of the house of the Lord to cleanse it and brought out all the uncleanliness that they found in the temple of the Lord into the court of the house of the Lord. And the Levites took it to carry it out abroad into the brook Kidron. Yeah? So they brought everything out. Not only did they cleanse themselves, they went into the temple, cleansed the temple, took out everything that was wicked and abomination unto the Lord. Huh? Right? Now let's go to verse 8, verse 17. Now they began on the first day of the first month to sanctify, and on the 8th day of the month. So they cleansed themselves. Now they began on the first day of the first month in the month of the Abib to sanctify themselves, and on the 8th day of the month came they to the porch of the Lord. So they sanctified the house of the Lord in 8 days. And in the 16th day of the first month, they made an end. Then they went into Hezekiah the king and said, we have cleansed all the house of the Lord and the altar of burnt offering with all the vessels thereof and the showbread table
with all the vessels thereof. Moreover, all the vessels which King Ahaz in his reign did cast away in his transgressions, we prepared and sanctified, and behold, they are before the altar of the Lord. So they had to make new vessels, make new things, because Ahaz had chopped them up and threw them away and brought it to other gods. So they had to make new ones. Huh? Make new ones. And now, for 8 days, they sanctified themselves. So like the Levites, Kohath, Merari, and Gershonites, they cleansed themselves. Then after that, after the 8 days of cleansing themselves, they went to the temple of the Lord. They cleansed it for another 8 days. Everybody wants to go out there and do the work of the Lord, which is fine. But in the meantime, we have to accept rebuke. We have to accept chastisement at times, regardless of age. Regardless of age. And move in the way of God, in the way of the Most High, the foundation of wisdom, the fountain of wisdom. And see the temple at all times in our heads. And go in there every day and contemplate at the beauty of it. The gold overlaid, the cedar wood, the olive wood, the cherubims, the walls, the silver, the brass of the vessels on the altar, the menorah before it, on the altar. Huh? Contemplate and see it in your mind's eye. Because your mind cannot make the difference between reality and fiction, right? The sympathetic and parasympathetic brain does not know what's real or not. So by definition, you could see what is real. That's what his faith is. That's that avenue where you could envision it in your mind and be like, this is what it is. There ain't no other way. Huh? Because they spent 8 days cleansing themselves, then 8 days going into the temple and cleansing it, right? The number 8 has a significance. Genesis chapter 21 and verse 4. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Wait a minute. And why did it take 8 days? Because on the 8th day, after a child is born, you wait 8 days. On the 8th day, you circumcise him. Why? Because the child produces an excess of vitamin K. And vitamin K is used to do what? To dull pain. To dull pain. So that on that specific day, when you circumcise a young boy, a baby boy, he doesn't feel the pain that much. He doesn't feel it. That's scripture. And that proves that the Most High wants our betterment for us. He doesn't want us to be in pain and suffer, but we brought that suffering upon ourselves because we don't want to listen to the Most High God. Let's go. First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 56. And it reads, and so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold, and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon. Thus was there
Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. We have to understand how beautiful that was. Because once our temple is clean, once our mind, body is clean, and everybody's on the same page with the Lord, praying to the eastward, who can come against us? Who? Huh? Who could come against us? Now let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 18. Then they went into Hezekiah the king and said, we have cleansed all the house of the Lord and the altar of burnt offering with all the vessels thereof, and showbread table with all the vessels thereof. Moreover, all the vessels which King Ahaz in his reign did cast away in his transgression, we have prepared and sanctified, and behold, they are before the altar of the Lord. Huh? Then Hezekiah the king rose early and gathered the rulers of the city and went up to the house of the Lord. And they brought 7 bullocks and 7 rams, 7 lambs, 7 goats for a sin offering for the kingdom and for the sanctuary and for Judah. And he commanded the priests, the sons of Aaron, to offer them on the altar of the Lord. So they killed the bullocks, and the priests received the blood and sprinkled it on the altar. Likewise, when they had killed the rams, they sprinkled the blood upon the altar. They killed also the lamb, and they sprinkled the blood upon the altar. And he brought forth the he-goat for the sin offering before the king and the congregation, and they laid their hands upon them. And the priests killed them, and they made reconciliation with their blood upon the altar to make an atonement for all Israel. Not the whole world now, for all Israel. And for all Israel, not for the whole world now. Huh? So I want everybody to understand, please envision the temple in your mind. See it. When you pray at night, in your secret place, in your closet, in the closet of your mind, see the temple. Kneel. See the gold pillars. See the cherubims. See the altar of the Lord. See the vessels. See it. Envision it. Focus your mind and pray to the Lord. That is our sanctuary. So with that, I thank y'all for coming tonight and listening to me with these scriptures and this understanding I brought out. I'll have the same class in Creole. Hopefully share this class for people that need it, and people that need to hear this word and understand why we are who we are and why we go out there to teach the people, because we want to get up out of here. This place is gonna burn. This place got to go, and a lot of us want to leave and go back home, go back to where we belong, go back to our homeland where we need to live and be at rest and live forever in the way of God. Fountain of wisdom, fountain of the true fountain of youth that people are talking about. With that, Kwam Yasha, I pray all of y'all have a good night and a good Shabbat. Share this video and give donations at the ticker at the bottom of the screen. And we pray that all of y'all, when y'all pray, and I've been trying to put in home, blood the horn of salvation, that ye pray earnestly with the temple in mind, and how it should be within your mind, and how it is gold arrayed with all the vessels. Because after Ahaz did what he did, he brought us to a low point. But without that record, we would not be able to see what all these other nations are doing, sacrificing at Bohemian Grove, Hollywood, and all these people. We see what they do. And people that brought this out, whether it be heathens or our people, they're bringing attention to it. So let's focus on the temple and bring our oil, just like them 5 virgins. 5 of them brought, 5 of them didn't. So be prepared. Read, and search out these scriptures. Search them out. Well, Masha.